Yeah.
To me, May connotes two things: spring, renewal, and a fresh start, and longer days, opportunity, and the anticipation of summer. A month of setting new goals and adopting new habits. Just like the flowers come into bloom, I truly felt like I got to flower into a new and improved version of myself this month, finally coming out of my dark and restrictive bud. After 3 months of non-stop traveling, I finally stayed put in Copenhagen for more than a week at a time, and this allowed me to dive headfirst into new endeavors, set new goals, and establish new routines. In other words, May was my glow up month. I'm just gonna give it to you straight. At the start of May, I was in a terrible place.
Not as easy and not as smooth as I would like it to be.
I was super depressed and anxious for all sorts of personal reasons, and honestly, I felt so lonely. I went into the month with the resolution of wanting to find a way out of this funk, which I'd been in for what felt like months at this point. I was resolute to enjoy my summer to the fullest and to come home feeling like I had done everything I wanted to do and grown into someone who's happy on her own. That was a major thing and still is for me. Understanding what I need to be content on the daily, finding pockets of happiness in the quotidian, surrounding myself with good friends, and getting a bit closer to figuring out what I enjoy doing that gives me purpose and how I want to spend my time. So yeah, here's a step-by-step kind of documentation of my attempts at glowing up, both mentally and physically, which I can, in retrospect, say were more than successful. As you'll see throughout this video, I tried to implement all these new habits and ways of thinking slowly but surely. So hopefully this is motivating and not overwhelming as I show you the ups and downs I experienced to get to a good place and exit my funk. First step was making some changes to my diet.
New part of my routine, bloom. Mango, generous scoop in there, mix her up. I've been drinking this every single day, probably twice a day. It helps me stay hydrated. I don't really like the taste of water, but this tastes good. Like drinking kind of like semi-smoothie. Thank you, Bloom, for sponsoring this video. The greens powder is packed with antioxidants, probiotics, so much fiber. I feel like that's one of the steps of my kind of glow up towards feeling good, towards feeling better and taking better care of myself. Great addition.
I am a cereal snacker. Cooking meals was not a thing I ever really did. Most days my lunch consisted of an absurd amount of crackers and peanut butter and carrots and hummus. Nothing inherently wrong with having that for lunch, but it's not great when it's the norm, and it affected my energy so much. So I slowly started eating more veggies, making some salads, chefing fresh pasta. Chefing is a strong word, but whatever. A very necessary step to feeling better for me was eating better and eating more balanced.
Beginning of May is approaching. I've been doing a lot of traveling, and now I'm going to be in Copenhagen for the next month and a bit, which I'm really happy about because the weather's getting nicer and my parents are coming to visit in a couple weeks. I'm currently reading Bunny by Mona Awad. I'll say I like someone's style when I find the reading engaging, but I love her style. It's so like raw. I don't know if raw is the right word, but it does feel like my mom was saying, like someone's just talking to me, unfiltered. I love the analogies that she makes. I love how she uses figures of speech. Like she's not trying to be poetic. Well, it is poetic, but like when I think of poetic, I think of like nature, but she'll just use things that everyone knows what it is. It's not necessarily a pretty sight, but it really renders a great image of what she's trying to describe. I am loving the way that she writes. I'm only about 70 pages in, so I don't really know where the story's going. On the back it kind of says that it's like Mean Girls meets horror, and that just sounds so fun. I'm making this page in my journal called Words I Don't Know. I did this in high school in Cégep when I was kind of like learning English, because in high school obviously went to school in French, so I'm kind of just taking that on again as I read, because I realize sometimes I read over words I don't understand. I guess I'm able to make sense of them in the context, but I want to be able to use them also, and then I'm just gonna write quick definitions. I find that fun to do. For the past, what was it, February, March, April, I've been here 3 months. Oh my god, holy shit. That blows my mind. Time flies. The past 3 months I have had lots of anxiety. I finally faced some of the things that were stressing me out. Instead of letting them fester inside me, I feel this weight has been lifted. So although I can't say that I feel like super happy right now because personal stuff, I do at least feel kind of at peace with everything. I'm gonna go buy running shoes today. I'm really trying to approach exercise with a different attitude. Exercising for me has always been something I just want to get over with, just get it done. And I'm trying to see it as something that will make me feel good instead. So something that I'm excited about because I'm excited for how it's going to make me feel.
Yeah. No, it is like I. But no, that is just because you're.
That's so awesome.
I bought the Hoka Hari 6, I think, in gray. I'm so excited because I'm gonna become a jogger. Also, I'm cooking peas in the back.
Going for a run. I don't know what the heck that, oh, it's my finger. I have been going on runs pretty much every single day for the past week, ever since I got my running shoes, and it's helping so much with my mood. I feel a lot better. Newfound love. I love running outside also, and I love running here where I don't know anyone. That is why I don't run back home. I'm terrified of seeing anyone I know. I also get so red and stuff, like I can't handle that. My second big resolution was to get moving. I have always been someone who enjoys exercising but is too lazy to go and exercise, so I bought myself new shoes and therefore made a little investment in my goal, which really helped push me out the door. I started by running 2K and feeling so faint halfway through to running 6K, which is a big deal for me, who has been a potato most of the year. Moving represented the first step to coping with some of my negative feelings. It's such a great outlet for my stress and just makes me feel so friggin' good.
It is such a gorgeous day today, so I'm gonna go to the park and read.
Then I told myself I wanted to be reading more as I had so much more time to do so. I also made the time.
Elderflower kombucha. Say less. That is heavenly.
I read 3 books within the first 2 weeks of May.
Then my computer broke, which is a big deal because I have not only school, I can only write an essay on my computer. Oh my god, are there kids? Where are they? I've been having baby fever. I'm really learning to be more chill about inconveniences. I'm someone that when I don't have control over situations, I freak the out. This is one of those times where I can't control how fast this guy works on my computer. I can't control whether my computer works or not. And I'm also not in control of it being the most expensive repair I've ever heard of ever. Yet I'm so unbothered, which is really unlike me. Usually this would be something that would make me really anxious. I don't know. I feel like I'm really learning to let things go slowly but surely and to just like accept that sometimes things happen that are not fun, but I don't know. You just gotta deal with them and not mope around about it because not dwell on it also. Life becomes really unpleasant when every inconvenience is a big deal. I feel like it's a blessing in disguise that I don't have my computer this week to distract me with work and TV and all that shit. I'm having to face things and be with myself more than I feel like I have been all of exchange. Actually having to find ways to make that something that's enjoyable and not dreadful, to be like alone with my thoughts and not having other people that I'm counting on necessarily to like call and unload all my shit onto. Right when I got back from Italy, I was editing this video from the start of exchange. I was so unwell and it makes me sad obviously, but editing that back, I'm just like, I don't want this to be me. I don't like watching this and seeing myself as that person that's just never happy. Like what? That's so lame. It was somewhat out of my control at that point. Lots of private shit going on, but at the same time it's like, how many times are you going to tell yourself something needs to change before you actually go out and like change it? And I feel like I've always had people around me to like make me feel better about stuff, and now finally I'm like, I'm actually in this with myself for my whole life. I want to be someone that's a happy person and that enjoys my own company and that can have fun on her own. Now I'm going to meet Maria and Katrina for coffee.
Edda. If we get a coffee, and where would you?
Low key.
Yeah. Her eyes. We'll go to the Asian market.
Going to Bon Marché, gonna get some coffee with Arlinda and her friend and then head to the event. And I'm wearing my American Vintage coat, Gani. Let's go. My fourth resolution involved saying yes more. I went to things on my own despite it being scary. I met so many people this way and have made friends for life by choosing discomfort over a night in. I went to events solo where I befriended such cool people and realized how much energy I get from social interactions. Good morning, or good afternoon. I finished Bunny by Mona Awad, which was such an enjoyable read. I really enjoyed the story, found it really entertaining, and I liked that when I got to the end, it got me questioning like everything I had just read. I like books like that kind of like mindfuck you a little. Yet another book that I'm gonna have to go and read up on and see what people are saying about. I feel like I'm just taking it easy, doing a lot of writing and reading and just like taking time for myself, trying to surround myself with people, say yes more, but I'm definitely finding some moments a bit harder than others. But it's okay, that's part of life. Yeah, I wanna go to a coffee shop to get out of my room, get a matcha. I'm gonna start Tuesdays with Maury. Type of self-help, but not like self-help. Do you know what I mean? The cover says, an old man, a young man, and life's greatest lesson. And I think that that's the type of book that I really need right now. Something that will teach me life's greatest lesson, get me out of whatever little bout of sadness I'm experiencing. Teach me a thing or two. I'm trying to stay cool, calm, and collected. The fact that I don't have my computer, it's just taking a lot longer than I anticipated. And I have stuff due. I actually am trying to teach myself to accept that I will not always have control over situations, and there's no point in stressing about stuff you don't have control over. What can I do? I'm also gonna bring my journal because I have a lot of journaling that needs to get done. Whenever I feel like my spirits are kind of low, I journal and it makes me feel a trillion times better. I like to write about what's bothering me, what's making me sad with prompts. So I'll be like, what's making you feel anxious? What's making you feel sad? What's kind of eating up your energy, whatever. And then right afterwards, I'll do, how can you deal with that stress? What would make you feel better? What things make you happy? What gives you energy? Every time I do that, I finish journaling and I feel this surge of energy and like positive energy, and I feel a lot better. So I'm gonna do that. A lot of my exchange so far has been very rocky because I've just been learning a lot about myself. There's just been a lot of change. As much as I like to tell myself that I deal well with change, I deal well with it like down the line, but sometimes it takes me a bit longer to feel good about that change. It's just not as easy and not as smooth as I would like it to be, but that's all right because we will get through it and we will feel better soon. And I'm honestly just so happy with how I've been pushing myself to do more things that are good for me, and not having my computer has really helped me do that, but it does get lonely. So yeah, that's why I need to leave my room. As much as I consider myself an introvert, I love being around people. And quite frankly, need to be around people to stay sane. Almost done. Yeah, I need to wait.
It has to be a simulation.
Yeah.
I also said yes to going out even when I felt tired, just pushing myself to be out of my room as much as possible. Good morning. I got drinks last night, which was really fun. It was a really nice vibe. Yesterday morning, I read all morning. I binged Tuesdays with Maury by Mitch Albom. Actually, I think since Le Soleil d'Escorta, I have not had a book like touch me this deeply, but honestly, I'm sorry, even though Le Soleil d'Escorta really touched me, I can't remember the last time a book has touched me that much. Having it be based on a real person makes it feel a lot more real for me. It just affected me a lot more. It got me thinking a lot. This book could not have come in my life at a better time. The ups and downs of exchange, I'm obviously having such a good time, but I had a lot of stuff on my plate for the first few months here. This book really teaches you, like the cover says, like the greatest lesson or something. And it teaches you the importance of being present, the importance of loving. It's about Maury. He is Mitch's professor in university. They fall out of touch. Maury develops ALS, which is when your muscles atrophy, I think. And so you lose motor functions. You know, your lungs stop working and stuff. That's how people die from it. That was a really terrible explanation, but you get the gist. He has a death sentence basically, and he ends up somehow on the news, which is how Mitch finds out that he's sick. And Mitch and him had a really good relationship, like teacher-pupil relationship at university. Mitch has dedicated himself to his work. He's a sports newscaster, big time TV personality, whatever. When Mitch sees him on TV, finds out he has ALS, he goes to visit him. Eventually they start this routine of meeting on Tuesdays where Maury teaches Mitch about life, like tells him about life, tells him what he's learned throughout his life about all these different categories, if you will, like marriage, greed, money, love, family. I wrote a page in my journal about all the takeaways because I've rarely read a book that I felt so touched by. I was like tearing up the entire time almost. I feel like that's what I needed to hear at this point in my life. I just love his philosophy on life. Once you learn how to die, you learn how to live. And something that really stuck with me is how he talked about like detaching from emotions. So, you know, instead of feeling self-pity because he's sick and dying and feeling sad all the time and bitter and all that, he allows himself to feel those emotions, but he detaches himself from them eventually. So what he says is if he wakes up and he feels lonely one morning, he'll let himself feel lonely. He'll have a cry about it. He'll be sad about it. And then he'll detach himself from that emotion and be like, okay, I had my moment with loneliness. I experienced it, but now time to experience all the other emotions that are out there. And that is something I'm really bad at. When I feel a certain way, I let it eat away at me. He says like, don't cling on to these things. It just really struck me. Just yesterday I was feeling really sad about something and I was like, okay, I'm gonna let myself live this emotion. I'm gonna have a little cry, something, and then I'm gonna put it aside and let myself experience all the other emotions. Happiness from going to meet up with friends and having a good time, hearing about someone who is quite literally in the worst position you could be in, knowing that your life is coming to an end so quickly and having no control over that. Seeing someone like that still put on a smile and give so much of his time to others and not just like mope around in self-pity made me realize I'm so lucky to be experiencing this life. Not to be cheesy or overly, you know, like but it's true. Spending so much time feeling bad about certain things is just such a waste. At some point you have to let go of those negative emotions so you can experience everything else. So that book is wonderful. I highly recommend. Wow. And then this morning I started As I Lay Dying. I wanted to go from a book talking about kind of death in a not so dreadful way to this because I've heard that this is like a kind of difficult read and that it's sad. And so I'm curious to see how I take this in, how I approach this book coming out of just reading something that kind of views death not as something that should be dreaded, but something that should be, I guess, prepared for in a certain way. Like you prepare for death by living every day. Not like it's your last day, but kind of. And that's not to say you should be always doing the most. Even in that book, they talk about what would your perfect day be like, and Maury describes like, you know, an average day, but surrounded by loved ones where he gets to do the things that he loves. Too many tangents. I'm confused at myself. I don't even know what I was saying. So far, it's a bit difficult to read in terms of the dialect that he uses, Southern dialect. I had to pull up like a Faulkner dictionary. E-E-R, I was like, but it's like ever. She'll want to go in Ourn, O-U-R-N, and that's hours. I'm only 30 pages in. Looking good. Every chapter is a different person's perspective, which I like.
Unfortunately, May was also my finals season, and I was determined to get my final essays done and over with before my parents came, which meant I spent many days in coffee shops grinding out work. I must say though, it gave structure to my days, forced me to get up and get going, and got me out of the house. You gotta take the good with the bad.
food tastes better.
Water at the bottom of it? Oh. We need to find it for you.
I took being a yes woman to a whole other level when I woke up in Malmö, Sweden after a night out in Copenhagen. Saying yes makes for the best stories, as long as it's within your boundaries, of course.
Brutal.
This might seem frivolous, but forcing myself to spend time outside was another goal of mine.
That's the only thing I have. Find my head. Yeah. That was my favorite show as a kid.
Being in the sun, getting that vitamin D, walking, biking, grabbing food to eat in the park.
You're done.
Breathing in fresh air. That stuff is magic.
Yeah, mine is awful.
Aside from running, I kept up my habit of long evening walks. Whether it be in the park or around the lakes, this is my favorite part of the day. Number 7 on the list was spending more time with girlfriends and making new friends. For a little while there, I really closed in on myself and didn't feel like I had the energy to spend time with friends or to make new ones. Kind of a vicious cycle, feeling low energy and not wanting to interact, staying in, feeling perpetually tired, and losing the ability to be social. Sometimes it feels like there's no way out, but I eased my way into it, first by going on coffee dates, then by going out, and eventually I found my fun side again. I've really realized the importance of having female friendships. I obviously always knew how great it feels to share strong bonds with other women, but I'd kind of forgotten that feeling.
Oh yeah.
No, but I can't.
Actually, yeah. Did it. We did it.
So I thought that I would get my computer back by today, but unfortunately it's gonna be like another week, no computer. It's kind of stressing me out. It sucks because I'm falling behind, but I think that this is a lesson to like learn to take it a bit slower. I feel like the Danish culture, it's a lot more slow paced than American culture, which feels really nice to be immersed in, but it's also like I have deadlines.
Part of my glow up was also learning to take it slow. I didn't shy away from taking days to myself when I felt off, relaxing and letting myself experience my little bouts of sadness in order to eventually let go of those emotions in good Maury fashion. Enjoying the silence is hard, but I tried to. It was really important to me that I learned to enjoy my own company without any distractions. I allowed myself to slow down for a bit, which was needed after 3 months of nonstop traveling and lots of change.
OMG, who is she?
Last step of my glow up was putting more effort and time into getting ready in the morning. This wouldn't be a true glow up video without a little bit of tending to my vanity, now would it? As we all know, when you don't feel your best, it's so easy to stay in pajamas all day, or in my case, just mope around about feeling gross instead of doing something about it. With spring, I felt this new excitement about fashion and started putting more effort into my appearance. Sarah showed me how to slick back my hair, and that became my go-to whenever I wanted to feel put together. I started ditching the baggy clothing every day for some cuter stuff.
Good evening. I had a lovely day. This morning I worked a bunch, then I had an event, had some good rosé wine from depop, and then I went to meet Charlotte in the park. I attempted to do work, but it was really difficult. I was kind of tipsy, and I ended up reading As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner. It's hard to get into, but I'm, I think, 70 pages in. I just like am pushing through because I know that after you hit the 100-page mark, you get to know the characters and you get to know the author's style, and then it's easier to read because it is like a difficult book. I just made Greek salad, which is my first time like actually cooking vegetables for myself in so long, and I just proved to myself how easy it was, which is good because I've been really lazy about cooking nice meals for myself, and I feel like it really affects how I feel on the day-to-day when I'm not eating vegetables in a very diversified diet. We're gonna go picnic, eat it in the park, and then we're gonna go out tonight, I think, just like for drinks. Good day.
A bunch of us developed a sweet ritual of eating dinner in the park as it got warmer out. Just sharing meals instead of eating at my desk really propelled that goal of mine forward.
Makeup by Sarah tonight.
I love that.
Oh, you can't see. I have freckles tonight.
You've been having freckles.
These are cuter. And burgundy mascara. You can't see.
Did you? Wait, burgundy mascara?
Oh. And so I exactly. I am breaking out because I am on my period. Oh, I also painted my nails last night because they were looking tragic. I don't love the color, but it's better than what it was before. I need no distractions, and I need to just bang out 11 pages of this essay and finish it today, which is like very unrealistic, but I'm gonna actually try. Fuck my life. Okay, let's go.
Why is really satisfying.
Fart at work.
Looks a little grainy.
It looks moist.
This is what I got. Orange cake with yogurt.
Is that yogurt?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
I don't usually like citrus pastries. That is really fire. I don't like yogurt. I'm a hater. I'm actually the biggest yogurt hater on the planet.
That's so true.
Yesterday, I wrote pretty much my entire draft for my design essay at Louis Rowe. I work so well there. I love it so much there. It's crazy. I'm gonna miss Danish cafes so much. I've been reading As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner. I have 30 pages left. Probably the hardest book to get into because the dialect, the southern dialect, is incomprehensible at first, but it's so worth it. I'm like surprising myself with how engaged I am in the story because I find it sometimes hard to follow There's a marathon, by the way. I just got ready and I'm going to go to the SMK cafe. I haven't been yet, which is crazy because I live from it, which I probably shouldn't say. I'm trying to finish my essays before my parents get here in 3 days, so we'll see if I'm able to do that. Okay, I'm wearing this because I'm too shy to walk around in a dress. It's gonna be such a fun night. I'm in need of like a good girls' night. One night, Amelia hosted a girls' dinner where we dressed up, dished, and ate amazing pasta by Chef Amelia. I've really come to value moments like these. Nothing compares to the bond you share with your girlfriends, and I'm so glad I've opened myself up to new friendships because it has truly impacted my confidence and my overall happiness more than anything else. At the shadows you made.
Oh, that's so brave. Really, really good. Speaking about food.
So good.
Like the most basic pasta. I'm like, guys.
Wait, I can't cook like anything.
Honestly, there's no hard recipe. Not hard when I can say
It is like
It is actually.
why am I struggling so much?
Yeah.
Look Lastly, I got my lashes done. This is the one thing I do whenever I feel bad because it just always makes me feel pretty. These are so much better than the last ones I got. Holy shit. Last ones made me want to like sue. And that is it for my glow up. I truly started this video out feeling like shit, and within 2 weeks came a pretty long way. I am narrating this in August and it's only gone up from there, so if that's any indication of how powerful making small changes to your lifestyle and embracing discomfort is, I hope this motivates you. Thanks for watching.